Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we will be painting this simple but beautiful Christmas ball decoration on the tree. This video is available in real-time full version on my membership part of the channel. For this video, I will be using this Clairefontaine Fontaine watercolor paper. It is 18 by 24 centimeters, 7 by 9.5 inches, 300 GSM or 140 pounds. It is also 100% cotton. I did made my sketch, and as you can see, I wrote some things around it just to remind me of some things. And I will be using pencil and an eraser to do my sketch. And this time I am sketching directly onto watercolor paper because I find this sketch to be quite easy. I'm gonna do first a couple of branches. As you could have seen, one is going upwards and then again downwards from the top, second one going downwards from the top, and the third one going from the side. Also, you can see I'm holding my pencil at just very end, not holding it on the top and pressing it hard, but just at the very end, and my lines are so light, barely visible here on the sketch. And for the ball, I'm using just this round little glass, I don't know, container, and you can use basically anything you have for the ball. Also, when finished with my sketch, I did use this kneaded eraser just to remove the excess graphite. I remembered later on that I forgot to sketch the highlights, to sketch that part that I will left white on my ball, so I've sketched it a little bit later on. Again, use the eraser to remove that excess graphite. Afterwards, I've prevetted the entire paper and then mixed in this little very light green and went onto the part where my branches are. I do want that part just to, be a little bit greenish, to do a greenish background. So I've used green on that part, and around it, the entire other background, I painted in blue. Again, very light wash. While that was still wet, I used a brownish color. That could be something like, I don't know, burnt sienna maybe. Something between burnt and raw sienna, that color, and then just went over my branches. There, the paper is still wet, so the paint is spreading slightly, and that is exactly what I want. I don't want harsh lines. I do want it to feather out a little bit. And then again, added those little needles on my branches with green color. I left it to dry completely, and then when it dried, I again prevetted the paper, and with that green again added a little bit of more that paint onto the parts where the branches are, and a little bit more of the blue all around my ball, and also on the top part and in between the branches. While the paint is still wet, I did not dry it. I went over it while the paint is still wet with quite light of wash with that pinkish color. You can basically use here any color you like. If you like your decoration to be yellow, just use yellow. If you want your decoration to be darker blue or green or red, whatever color you like, maybe purple, you can use any color you like for your decoration. And as you can see, I started with a lighter color, and I really did leave it to bleed outside of my ball, and I did pick up just a little bit, smudge it slightly around it, but I did want it to bleed around my ball because I did want it to look as though the ball is slightly glowing. So you have to use a very light wash for that, and to get that effect that ball is glowing, I did want it to have a little glow around it. So that is the reason why I use a light wash, and why I used it while the paper was still wet and left it to just slightly bleed outside the borders of my ball. Also, after the paint dried, this time dried completely, I used again that brownish color, and with a script brush I've added branches on top of the branches, just here and there, just those broken lines of brown, to make it look as though, you know how that branches from the Christmas tree, they're not they're not smooth. They have this texture, so I added a little bit of the texture just with those broken lines. Again, on top, added a little bit of needles, and you can see my needles are going in all sorts of directions. Just don't paint them on the left and on the right side from your branch, because that wouldn't make it look believable. Just paint them on the top, on one side, other side, going upwards, not really going downwards, going upwards to the top of the branch, to make it look as though they are all around that little branch. And again, I've used a little bit darker green this time and went from lighter to darker, because I do want those needles to have variation in color, in saturation, in value, because I do want to make them look as though some are a little bit in shadow and some are a little bit highlighted. After that, I moved on again to my decoration and then added very this time quite dark and quite saturated paint to my bowl, to my decoration, because I do want it to stand out. This color is a little bit pastel, so it's not really too vibrant, but I wanted a quite amount of the color and make it quite dark. Then to my mix of pink color, I've added a little bit of brownish that could be something like, I don't know, burnt sienna, to make it slightly darker, to get slightly different tint to my pink, and painted the lower left part, which is in shadow. Also, afterward, while the paint is still wet, I've sprinkled on top of it a little bit of clean water, and I left it to dry completely. As you can see, when it dried, it looks just so gorgeous, and that, you know, that water just gave it such a gorgeous, beautiful texture. So don't be afraid, add water, and if you notice that your water is spreading, like it's not leaving those white marks but it's spreading all around, it means that your paper is too wet. Just dry it slightly, not completely, slightly, and then sprinkle some clean water and you will get this beautiful effect. And after it dried completely, I painted that top on which my bowl is hanging on in just a regular black, nothing special, and then added a little bit more of the paint on that left side to make that part even darker. And now I'm using white. This is not really a white gouache, but my white, those are the paints that I made myself, and they are a little bit more like gouache, not really exactly like watercolors. They can be transparent, but they're not so very transparent. They're quite opaque watercolors, and so when I use them, they're not really, as I said, like regular watercolors, but a little bit more opaque. And my white is working. If you have just watercolors for this, you can use gouache, white gouache, or maybe some white marker to add white needles on top of your branches, because that would make it, I think, a little bit more beautiful. Added those highlights, also a little bit of white sprinkles on top of everything, like there is just snow falling, and our winter painting is done. And I hope this is something you enjoyed, and I hope you will definitely try this one. I do believe it is so very easy and simple to do. There is absolutely no reason for you not to do it. And as I said, very simple but very effective, beautiful. You can use it for cards, for a gift, for Christmas, for any holiday. I think it's just so beautiful and perfect, even to hang it up next to your Christmas tree or above your fireplace. Just beautiful, perfect painting. And again, I hope you like this video. If you do, please hit the like button, share it, comment, and if you haven't still, please subscribe to my channel. Don't wait anymore. Well, if you want to go even a step further, maybe consider joining my channel. Press that join next to the subscribe button, listen to the offer, and decide whether or not you want to join. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.